This is CBC Here and Now.
I think a holiday and a bit of time to relax first.
Chief Bill Janes announces his retirement from the RNC.
I thought you were going to ask me if I smoke marijuana. No, I don't. Do I support the legalization of marijuana? Yes, I do.
The Premier explains why he supports legal weed.
Their houses and their family, all gone.
Syrian immigrant children in this province react to seeing their peers at home.
And here in the weather department, blizzard warnings continue for Central, where 30 to 50 centimeters is still on the menu. Changes in the east with freezing rain now a threat for tonight. The details coming up.
Good evening. Our top story tonight: after more than 30 years with the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary and 3 years as its chief, Bill Janes is retiring from the police force.
Yes, Jane's departure comes at a time when the RNC is facing a string of controversies that has shaken public confidence in the force. Here Now's Mark Quinn sat down with the outgoing chief at RNC headquarters.
Chief Bill Janes says it was his decision to leave and he's at peace with it. He says the RNC laid out a strategic plan when he became chief, and now its goals, such as improving victim services and reducing road accidents, have been accomplished.
Just recently I ticked the last box in that 3-year plan.
Fire his ass! Fire his ass!
But during Jane's tenure, public confidence in the RNC was also badly eroded by a series of highly controversial investigations involving police officers, like Carl Douglas Snellgrove, who was found not guilty of sexually assaulting a woman while he was on duty, and Joe Smythe, who's at the center of an inquiry into the police shooting death of Don Dumphy.
It's not just on the new chief. It's on the women and men that are doing this. They have a role to play here. It's on myself. I have a role to play here. We all have a role to play when it comes to ensuring public confidence, not just in policing, but in the justice system.
Janes says questions about the RNC's integrity played no role in his decision to retire. He also says he believes the ongoing police controversies will have no long-term impact on the force's reputation.
They'll go through systems and processes, and in the end there'll be an outcome, and people need to be patient. But I think as an organization, we're built on the foundation of integrity and professionalism, and I think that they're the things, those core values will be what people see in the end.
Janes is set to retire in June. A new chief will be chosen by the province's Independent Appointments Commission. Janes says he could be replaced by someone from another province or by someone currently working with the RNC. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
A trip to Tim's for a coffee sent one man to the curb with a flat tire. Days later, he's worked out a solution for his tire, but the pothole that blew it remains. Here Now's Chris Ensing is following this story. He joins us live. Chris?
Yes, well, it was last week when Josh Rumbold pulled into this Tim Hortons here, and when he did, he heard a pop. That was his tire. It was flat. He was stuck, headed to work. This picture here shows the pothole that Rumbold hit. Now Rumbold went in to the Tim Hortons to see if they were aware the pothole was there. The manager said yes, but said they weren't able to help him because it was on the town's property side. So he called up the town of Grand Falls, Windsor and said, hey, can you help me out? I just popped my tire. It was by the Tims. They said, yes, we've heard there's a problem there. In fact, someone earlier that week also had an issue with their tire. But the town told Rumbold this was the fault of the Tim Hortons owner, that it's their problem. So Rumbold was stuck with a flat tire. Here's him describing his situation.
I never really thought much of it until I got to make my order, and as soon as I started driving again, I could feel that my car was pulling to the right. So I decided to get out and check it over. And when I do, I notice that my tire is blown out completely. It gets frustrating when you're kind of just trying to make it by. I just kind of moved it on my own not too long ago, and I'm just trying to make it the best I can. And now this happens, and when you're young and kind of trying to get out on your own, this kind of thing could either make or break you.
Now, you hear him talk about making or breaking you. That's because he had to replace all 4 tires when he went to the repair shop. Yes, the bill came to about $600. Now, Rumboldt had asked the Tim Hortons if they were going to be able to help him out with this. Now, he had spent a couple of days not hearing back from them, so he contacted the CBC, or talked with the CBC. Now, after he told Tim Hortons about that, they were able to get in touch with Mr. Rumboldt, and it worked out a deal to replace the tire. They reimbursed him for the tire that popped. Now, this actual pothole, you can look over behind me on the left here, it's still there. The Tim Hortons is trying to find a solution with the town, they say, but until a permanent fix is found, they'll continue pouring gravel into that hole. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Chris Ensing in Grand Falls, Windsor.
Well, from Bonavista Bay all the way up to the Northern Peninsula, there are blizzard warnings tonight as the province prepares for a late winter storm, one that is likely to stretch into the weekend. Now, the messy weather, which includes a mix of snow, freezing rain, and rain, shut down schools this morning in some parts of eastern and central Newfoundland. And as you know, Ryan has been keeping us on top of this impending storm all week. And tonight, it's a storm whose movements are still hard to predict. Right, Ryan? What's the latest?
Yeah, lots of moving parts. As advertised all week long, this was going to be a tough one to nail down, and is holding true to that. Have a look at the conditions on the Northern Peninsula today. It's been a rough day. High winds, blowing snow, some schools and businesses closed there. The main roads were cleared early, but high winds caused some drifts in areas. And again, it's not over yet. More snow on the way tonight and in through tomorrow. That's the one area that has been seeing the hardest hit conditions through the day today. And again, things will ramp up in Central as we roll through the overnight tonight and into tomorrow particularly. And that's where we have our 30 to 50 centimeter amounts will be for Central from the Green Bay, White Bay area across to the Bonavista Peninsula. That's where the snowfall amounts and the wind will be strongest with this. And that's why we have the blizzard warnings in effect. Big changes in the east in terms of lower snowfall totals, but higher in terms of the rain and freezing rain potential for the southern shore and the northern Avalon, including St. John's. We're talking about the potential here for 30 to 50 millimeters of rainfall. And yes, some of that falling in the form of freezing rain tonight as temperatures will hover near the freezing mark. So some significant icing possible, particularly for higher in elevation areas and inland areas of the Avalon. So we're keeping an eye on that. The radar shows that, again, you can see where the snow is coming in over central and western parts of Newfoundland and across the east where we're seeing that mixing. Again, a bit of light snow mixed with some freezing drizzle right now, and ice pellets even mixing in across the Avalon, but that rain and freezing rain will push in more so tonight. So it's going to be a messy night in Metro, and that's where we find our very own Zach Gowdy. Zach, again, bit of mixed precip coming in right now. What's it doing where you are now?
Yeah, that's just starting here, Ryan. It's a long way from a lovely evening, but considering what people in other parts of the province could be dealing with, I think people in St. John's, will be a little pleased to be dodging the snow on this one at least. It is cold, windy, and damp. As you were saying, that freezing rain just getting started, set to get worse, so keep that in mind if you're heading out tonight. But if you're concerned about your Thursday evening activities being canceled due to weather, I think you'll be in the clear. A welcome surprise for weather watchers in this part of the island. Reporting live in St. John's, I'm Zach Gowdy for Here and Now.
Well, Husky Energy is keeping an eye on icebergs off the coast of Newfoundland tonight. That move is prompted by an iceberg that floated a little too close to the Sea Rose FPSO yesterday morning. Husky isn't saying how close it came to the vessel, but it was enough to cause the crew to reduce production and prepare to disconnect flow lines so they could move with little notice. The Sea Rose FPSO is located 350 kilometers off the Avalon Peninsula.
A major Newfoundland property developer is seeking protection from its creditors. 5 companies under the umbrella of the Future Group made filings under the federal insolvency law this week. They include Skymark Contracting and Skymark Renovations. Combined, the 5 companies reported liabilities of $20 million. They will now have time to try to work out a deal to settle their debts. 4 years ago, the Future Group said it employed 100 people and had more than $60 million in annual sales.
The skyrocketing costs for Muskrat Falls appear to have stabilized, and Nalcor posted a healthy profit last year because of greater oil revenues. Now, the province could make history next year when hydroelectric power from Labrador begins energizing homes and businesses on the island for the very first time. Those were some of the highlights from Nalcor's annual general meeting today. Here now, Terry Roberts was there and joins us live to suss out some of these details. Terry?
Yeah, well, Carolyn, there was lots to talk about following today's meeting right here in St. John's. And of course, Muskrat Falls was once again the focus. And it now appears as though the cost overruns and delays for the project have been brought under control. CEO Stan Marshall said there's been significant progress on the project, and from a financial standpoint, he's not expecting any more major surprises.
We're very much further ahead than I would have hoped when I spoke to you last April. We're not there yet, but we've gone from a very critical situation to a difficult one. We've gone from a situation where I didn't know from day to day where I had to lay off 4,000 workers to one where that part of it was taken care of, and now we're focusing on costs and those sorts of things, refining it. Tremendous progress.
Now, Marshall said last year that Muskrat Falls will cost this province $11.7 billion. Now, that's up about $4 billion since the former Progressive Conservative government gave the project the green light about 4 years ago. Now, we asked him today if that number has changed. He said it has, but not by much. So expect the final bill to exceed $12 billion.
Change. We're now talking about 1 or 2 percentage points. We're not talking about 30%, 40% increases in costs. No.
Now, the other major highlight from today was that by next year, electricity from Labrador could very well be powering homes and businesses right here on the island. How? Well, remember, we have the massive Upper Churchill already pumping out nearly 5,500 megawatts of power. Very cheap stuff, about 2 cents a kilowatt hour. Now, nearly all of that is sold to Hydro-Quebec under contract, but there's a block of about 300 megawatts that Nalcor controls. So it's possible we could see that flowing from Churchill Falls to Soldiers Pond, just west of here, perhaps by next summer. That would significantly reduce the amount of oil needed to power Holyrood.
Churchill power now is sold, say, around 2 cents a kilowatt hour roughly. The cost of generating at Holyrood, oil costs are over, say, 12 cents, depending on oil prices, obviously. So there should be a net saving of approximately 10 cents a kilowatt hour, which is, when you're thinking about 1.6 terawatt hours, the gross amount is probably $160 million a year.
So what will happen to that extra cash? Well, it'll likely be tucked away to help mitigate rate increases in the future. Power rates are forecasted to nearly double when Muskrat Falls comes online, and one of Marshall's top priorities is to try and avoid those massive increases. Now, this is not a done deal, though. The provincial government and the Public Utilities Board will have a big say in how this unfolds. Carolyn?
Thanks, Terry. That's Here Now's Terry Roberts reporting. Well, it appears there are exceptions to the provincial government's efforts to create a flatter, leaner management structure. We've already seen nearly 300 management positions slashed in the core public service, and health boards announced yesterday that nearly 100 jobs are being cut. The province says it will work with other Crown corporations, agencies, and boards to do the same. But that doesn't appear to be the marching orders for Nalcor. Here's what CEO Stan Marshall said when we asked him if cuts are coming.
You've reorganized your organization, but government keeps talking about a flatter, leaner management structure. Are you already there?
We're in a different situation. This province is investing $12 billion. This is not like Lipper Corporation, where we're just refining day to day and firing a few clerks. You know, we're hiring. We have to hire very technically oriented people globally. So we've put a structure in place. We'll be doing a lot of recruitment, and we have to. You don't make an investment of billions of dollars and not put people in place who know what they're doing.
Well, we asked Premier Dwight Ball about this today. Here's his response.
Is it fair to expect all the other boards and commissions, in order to find savings, in order to help fight the deficit, while Nalcor is in fact adding jobs?
You know, what is fair? Because Nalcor's adding jobs would, in some cases, would mean, because of the growth or something, whatever is required for them to deliver the services. I mean, they've taken on a big project. You've seen the assets of Nalcor right now. It has grown too, and so the volume and the commitment of individuals that it would take to actually meet those needs and deliver those services will require people. What we're talking about here is a structure within management that it would be leaner, would be flatter and leaner. And so in that particular case, you know, that rings true for all our ABCs, and we expect people and that are using government money to actually do so in the most cost-efficient way. So in some cases, you know, we will see in some areas within our own government that it might require some extra people to do things in certain departments.
Well, a nurse at St. Clair's Hospital in St. John's has lost her license for stealing narcotics. Amanda Murphy was given a 2-year suspension by the Association of Registered Nurses in February. They said she misappropriated a large quantity of narcotics on the job on 3 separate occasions between 2013 and 2015. The complaint against Murphy was made by Eastern Health.
The provincial government is still figuring out the rules and regulations required for when marijuana becomes legal, likely by July of next year. Premier Dwight Ball was asked today whether he supported legalizing the drug, and before he got to answer that, he volunteered a little information about his own use of it.
I thought you were going to ask me if I smoke marijuana. No, I don't. Do I support the legalization of marijuana? Yes, I do. And what I don't support, by the way, is the fact that we're exposing young kids. We're exposing young people in our province right now to sources of marijuana that we really do not know what's into it.
Trapper John's is reopening tonight, 6 weeks after it lost its operating license for violating the Liquor Control Act. The Newfoundland Liquor Corporation shut down the George Street bar after concluding it was selling alcohol after hours and allowing smoking. Owner Terry Gulliver says he did not know what was going on in the upstairs area of the club, an area he had rented out.
Well, I would say, like any small business owner, when you're shut down for 6 weeks with no income, I can't say it's been easy. It's been especially tough on some of my staff. You know, I've done my best to try to help them out for the last 6 weeks for a bit of pocket money and this kind of stuff. I'm excited to reopen, but I won't be excited until I get some people here.
The voice of an angel. This is 15-year-old Mackenzie Drover, who we've told you about before on Here and Now. Well, she's about to take on a big new role in The Wizard of Oz. Well, before we hear...
So, who's running tonight?
Yeah. Sliding in.
Yeah, no high heels.
No, thankfully. I would have broken my neck on the way over here.
Well, I know lots of people want to know all about the storm, but before we get to that, we just want to give you a quick update on Caitlin Osmond.
Yeah, it's a pretty big day tomorrow for her at the World Figure Skating Championships in Helsinki, Finland. She's going to skate her long program.
Yes, and as we showed you last night, Caitlin is sitting in second place after this outstanding short program performance, and her parents, Jackie and Jeff Osmond, were in the stands there to cheer her on.
Yeah, believe it or not, I reached them by phone in Helsinki this afternoon. They're pretty excited, as you can imagine. They had a quick coffee with Caitlin and say she's feeling good, she's very focused, and they won't see her again until after the competition tomorrow. But by the way, Caitlin told her mom Finland reminds her of Newfoundland, so let's hope that brings her good luck tomorrow.
Nice.
All her family in Marystown are watching, by the way.
Nice.
Lots of people rooting for her.
Big congrats. So I hope the weather's better there than it is here.
Can't be worse.
No. Had to have some sort of a segue there. We have blizzard warnings in effect for a good chunk of the island, Debbie and Carolyn and everybody at home. From Bonavista Bay, including Clarenville, back towards the Northern Peninsula east. That's where the bulk of the snow and the strongest winds will be. Snowfall warnings are still in effect for the Burin and the Conegra Peninsula. The freezing rain and rainfall warnings for the Avalon, most of the Avalon. The exception is the southwest Avalon. Also a blowing snow advisory for Mary's Harbor, Norman Bay to Lodge Bay, and also for the Burgeo to Ramia region. Now the freezing rain and rainfall warning, again, a little rare because we're going to be seeing the rain moving in tonight, and again, some icing for those areas, particularly higher elevation areas and areas that don't quite rise above freezing. A degree difference here, just 1 degree will make a big difference on how much ice we see through the overnight tonight into Friday morning. We have special weather statements in effect along that north coast with the driving northerly winds. Expect the ice to really pack into the coasts and bays here. Keep that in mind. Wind warnings are in effect for the Avalon, where we're going to be seeing some gusts in the 100 kilometer per hour range. Now, as I mentioned, all week this has been advertised as a system that's going to be tough to nail down. Not a lot of changes from last night to tonight for areas for central and west, but where you will see changes from my forecast is here across the Avalon Peninsula. 30 to 50 millimeters of rainfall tonight, and then it's back to some snow and ice pellets mixing in for tomorrow afternoon into the tomorrow evening time period, where we could rack up 10 to 15 centimeters through that late day tomorrow evening into the overnight time period before tapering off Saturday with an additional few centimeters possible through Saturday morning. There's the low that is, again, now 1. Originally 2 lows, and now it is just 1. And again, all that precip has been backing in, coming from no man's land, which is one of the reasons we've had such a tough time nailing this one down. You can see where we're mixing over the Avalon right now. It is primarily snow for central and western parts of Newfoundland, but again, it's wet snow. And you can see where, as of about 6:15, where we're starting to see that rain mix up across the southern shore. That will continue through the evening into the overnight. We'll change over to rain, but again, inland, higher elevation areas, possible to see some freezing rain lingering through tonight in those driving northeasterly winds. I think we'll see some mixing all the way up to the Bonavista Bay area tonight, as well as the Burin Peninsula. We'll see freezing rain mixing in with the rain and the snow. And we're going to be seeing the snow continue for central and western parts of Newfoundland, some flurries into Labrador, but generally it's a pretty quiet start for you folks across the Big Land for your Friday morning. So again, starting with that freezing rain risk in Metro, I think any freezing rain will likely change over to just rain through Friday morning as temperatures rise to about +2. And then note your timeline. Mid-afternoon is when we'll see the snow, or the freezing rain and the rain go back to snow across the Avalon and the Bonavista Peninsulas from west to east through that mid to late afternoon time period. Through the day tomorrow, the snow and the blowing snow continue for central and eastern parts of Newfoundland. It's flurries across that south coast. And there's your Friday evening time period. Not pretty here in St. John's. From the transition time of snow through the evening and overnight, it is definitely going to be blustery, and that accumulating snow and also the strong winds, which will be funneling in from that mid-Friday afternoon time period through the overnight. It won't be pretty. Temperatures again will fall in the east from highs of +2. Looking at a pretty quiet day for most of Labrador. Enjoy it. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures up to -2. A look at your forecast right through the weekend is coming up in just a few minutes. Debbie?
Thanks very much, Ryan. Well, it's time now to follow the yellow brick road. Holy Heart School in St. John's is putting off The Wizard of Oz. The show was supposed to open Friday night, tomorrow, but that's been postponed until Saturday due to the weather forecast. So the opening performance is now 2 Saturday afternoon with another one Saturday evening. And here's what you're in for if you picked up tickets for this performance.
We're at the end, and I'm going to be heartbroken when this is over, but it's finally here, and we've been waiting a long time, and it's just really exciting for all of us. This is my first very main lead role, so just getting the last vow in there and hearing the applause is just so satisfying, and seeing all the little kids, and it just makes my heart so warm.
I wasn't certain how the audience would come, but it's so nice to walk down the aisle and see all the children really waving. It almost feels like a Disney character, like everyone recognizes me, though they may not know me. They know Tin Man, and I become Tin Man, and it's so nice.
It's really enjoyable. I put a lot of work into it, and I'm having a lot of fun on stage. So I'm feeling like all the efforts being put in by everyone in the cast is really coming through.
Oh, I may be presuming that I could be kinda human. I'd be friends with the sparrows and the boy who shoots the arrows.
You would stay young and chipper,
and I'd lock in with the zipper if I only had a heart.
Well, that looks amazing. Well, motorists on the Northern Peninsula got to see some added beauty on their drive. This was filmed just outside Pines Cove, about 90 kilometers from St. Anthony, by Here and Now's Colleen Connors. Now, it was a game of follow the leader as the small herd trudged along near the side of the road grazing. The animals didn't seem fazed by the passing cars and community of 70 people up ahead. And of course, one of them looked both ways before marching down the highway and crossing over. Well, the Wesleyville photographer behind the praying polar bear picture that is lighting up social media tonight says it's an encounter she'll never forget. Well, here's the picture taken yesterday by Jessica Andrews of Ocean View Photography. She spotted the polar bear from her backyard in New West Valley on the northeast coast. Now, we showed you these other photos of the polar bear last night, shortly after it was first seen. Wildlife officials are now tracking the animal and warning people to keep their distance. After the break, we'll sit down with some Syrian children and ask them to reflect on life in their war-torn homeland and their lives today in St. John's.
دمار ونار جرح كبير بالصوت العالي بدي أقول بس الصوت صغير.
This is a plea from the children in Syria, a song about war robbing them of their childhood.
بأعلى صوت بدي أقول بالغني كل شي معقول حدا يسمع حدا يشوف طفولتنا بتنام بالصوت الواحد آملنا أكتر رح نصير أقوى طفولتنا تكبر.
Now, this song from UNICEF marks the 6th anniversary of the war in Syria. 6 years of war. These young children have never seen a Syria without destruction and violence. Now, the 10-year-old girl singing was born blind, and all of the children with her are internally displaced in Syria. They've lost their homes, and they're asking for their childhood back. It's a powerful message to the world, but for the refugees now living safely in this province, the emotion runs even deeper. I met with 2 families who escaped from Syria 2 years ago and now live in St. John's. Their children are around the same age as these children. We started our talk by showing them this video for the first time. As you were watching that video, what did you see?
Their houses and their family, like, all gone.
I feel they are like the good children. They're smaller, but they thinking like bigger, like a man or a woman. They have a big heart.
Everyone tried to be safe, but there's no place to run.
How did you feel when you were watching that video?
Like broke a heart because everything like bad and like everything down, the houses, their family. They like smile, but they're in like broke heart.
Their heart is like broken, but they're smiling for the other children, to make the other children who's sad, to make them happy. And like to not forget their families, like they are one family. They're trying to be a one family.
How do you think your life is different here compared to Syria?
It's different a lot because here it's everything safe now and like the children can go to school. But in Syria it's not no school. There is no school and like that. The children can go to school and like maybe in 2 days, 1 month, maybe 1,000 people die or like that. It's a lot of difference between Syria and Canada.
And like everyone goes take us, like we go on motorcycle and my uncle goes super duper fast. And when he comes to get us back, he goes so fast.
Because it's dangerous.
Yeah, and there's one time a helicopter came next to my dad. Like she was gonna hit my dad, but my dad got faster and he ran away.
You remember the helicopters?
I remember how they kill everyone or something. I remember all that. I think like it was like I remember like it was 1 month ago. If we were in Syria now, like we won't have like $3. Yeah.
But here, it's different.
Yeah, here my dad goes to work, get us food. He signed us in with the Y and like a lot of stuff we do with our friends now.
It's nothing there, like just fighting and houses like down. Nobody can live in Syria.
And it will make you too sad because watching the guys who's gone to the hospital or comes to the hospital, whose hands is off or legs or eyes, and like some people doesn't have legs to walk, so they're on a skate.
Scary stuff, hey?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you miss about Syria?
Yeah, friends and our families, a lot of stuff, and like we missed Syria a lot.
Do you wish you could go back?
Yeah, I wish to go back. Like if I had a time machine, I'll go back and like fix everything.
Fix everything.
If I had a time machine, but the time machine isn't real.
Storm chips may have started as a punchline in social media, but it has become a serious moneymaker in the potato chip business. We'll get to the bottom of this coming up on Here and Now.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, with another storm in the forecast, many people were racing to the store to stock up on storm chips. It's a trend that started on social media, but now it appears to be having a serious impact on the potato chip business. Here now, Zach Gowdy has been chewing on this story. He joins us again live now. So Zach, just how big an impact are we talking about?
Well, actual sales figures are a closely guarded secret in the chip business, but I spoke with the manager here at Coleman's who told me that the chip shelves in the last few days have already been wiped out and refilled, and I'm fixing to make a pretty good dent in their remaining supply, so they may have to fill them up again once I leave. And it's not just retailers who are noticing the storm chips phenomenon. I spoke with a manager at Old Dutch Chips who told me that in 20 years in the business, he's never seen anything like the impact that storm chips have had. In fact, a good, well-forecasted winter storm is now second only to Christmas in terms of potato chip sales. Now, I wanted to get to the bottom of this story, so we visited the Old Dutch Chips warehouse in Donovan's Industrial Park. In the chip business, is storm chips really a thing?
It is. It certainly is a thing. What happens with storms, if it's forecast, it's huge. The sales go through the roof. The guys came in here, probably between as early as 4:30 this morning. They're excited. They obviously take bigger loads onto the trucks. Some of them, you'll see them back here today because the inventory, which is usually enough for one full day, is not.
Keep going. How quickly did you guys catch on that storm chips was becoming a thing after the term was sort of coined in 2014?
Well, storm chips it's always been a thing. Ever since I've been in the business back to 1993, it's always been exciting. The difference between today and then is social media. There's pictures being sent back and forth, what's your favorite storm chip, people are talking, and that in itself, and it's really driven. I mean, you're here today. I mean, that's a perfect example. It's exciting.
And just on a personal note, Jeff, you've been in the chip business a long time. What's it like to suddenly have these cultural winds just start blowing in your favor?
It's fun. It's fun. When you have something, a phenomenon called a storm chip event, you know, everyone gets behind it, and the salespeople, you can see the fire in their eyes, and they work hard.
Well, Jeff, I've been really like I appreciate you for having me up here.
Where did you get that bag?
Oh, now, St. John's may be missing out on the bulk of the snow in this storm, but Ryan Snoddon and I are determined not to miss out on these storm chips. Hey, buddy.
Good story, Zach. Absolutely. I truly think that it doesn't.
You need me to take over for a few minutes? You need to swallow
no,
or
I'm
chew,
good.
perhaps?
I think I'm good. I thank you. But I was going to say that I really think we should not just limit it to the snow, but big wind, and as we're seeing here in the east tonight, rain and freezing rain. But I kind of think we should be coming up with maybe some better storm chip names, though. What do you think?
Yeah, in fact, I think that'd be a great way to sort of share in the fun with the audience. So we came up with the hashtag Storm Chip Flavors. Storm Chips is already trending nationwide, but now we're going to do Storm Chip Flavors. So if you would like to use that hashtag to tweet your suggestions at us for new Storm Chip flavors, we'll collect them into a best of story that we'll put on the website over the weekend during the storm. Snod, let's see if we can get a few rolling. I've been working on my entry all day. Are you ready for it?
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, I don't have a bag of salt and vinegar in this box inexplicably, but I was thinking of road salt and vinegar.
Oh, I like that. I like that. How about this one?
I'm not eligible to win.
How about this one? Ketchup chaos. Huh?
Ooh. It reminds me, I'm missing a few flavors in here. I like that one. There we go. There we go. Thanks, buddy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Zach. We appreciate that. So yes, hashtag Storm Chip Flavors, Facebook, Twitter. Get in touch with us and let us know what your stormy chip flavors are as we transition to the weather. Thank you very much again, Zach. I thought that out of all the bags there, I thought the party mix was probably most appropriate for this hit because the mix very much coincides with what we're seeing on the weather map here in terms of a messy mix of, yes, snow and some freezing rain and, yes, some rain here in the east. And it is going to be a messy mix, even some ice pellets mixing in. So a lot of change here in the east in terms of those snowfall amounts coming down, but they have to go somewhere. And that precip not going to be falling so much as snow as it will rain. And yes, 30 to 50 millimeters with icing potential for some of that certainly tonight and in through the early morning hours of Friday, especially in the higher elevation areas. 30 to 50 plus centimeters still the bullseye for central parts of Newfoundland from Bonavista Bay to the Green Bay White Bay area. And again, amounts generally in that 10 to as much as 20 centimeter range for the west coast. Amounts on the Burin likely will be on the low end as well based on some of the reports we've been seeing out today. Northern sections of the Burin Peninsula will see a lot more than southern sections of the Burin Peninsula, where I think we're primarily going to be looking at rain from here on out. And here is how things will play out as we move through this evening. Again, a bit of snow ice pellet mix over the next few hours, but it's over to rain by late evening. Freezing rain for inland or higher elevation areas, and those winds It's not going to be a pretty morning either way with the rain and yes, those winds gusting upwards of 80 kilometers to 90 kilometers per hour by tomorrow morning. The snow and blowing snow for central and west, flurries in the southeast, and note from Bonavista to the Burin that mixing that will then mix over to snow first for you folks. And then finally, we'll go back to snow on the Avalon through the mid-afternoon time period. May not really start accumulating snow till about the drive home time, which looks nasty. Periods of snow, winds gusting 80 to 100 kilometers per hour, and the snow and blowing snow across central and western parts of Newfoundland as well. So your snapshot for Friday afternoon, 2 degrees, temperatures falling in the east. We're near the freezing mark for central and west, and -2 for you folks in Labrador. Now this system will slowly start to pull out through Friday night, continuing to see some snow Friday evening, and then Friday night into Saturday, we're tapering to flurries. We're clearing from west to east. And so Saturday overall, not a bad day. A good day for shoveling out in central. And again, that 10 to 15 centimeter amounts for St. John's from the evening into the overnight will be easily cleaned up for Saturday. And sun and cloud on the menu for you folks in Labrador. Now, as we look into Sunday, again, note the clouds that are going to be increasing here as we work throughout the day. And that is on the leading edge of our next system. So while Sunday is quiet, temperatures near +1, Sunday night into Monday will not be. And this is our next system. Snow, yes, looking set, perhaps some mixing on the Avalon in the east as the center of this low will be tracking close to us on Monday with lingering snow and blowing snow possible even into Tuesday. We'll talk more about this one and your 7-day trend a little later in the show.
We'd like to introduce you to our athlete of the day. This is Braden Dobbin. Braden is 8 years old and lives in Coffee Cove.
Yes, he has a great time playing hockey with the Springdale Braves novice team. Way to go, Braden. You're today's young athlete of the day.
After the break, the chief of the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary on why he's leaving the job in about 3 months.
Welcome back to Here and Now. Well, we go back now to our top story, the announcement that Bill Janes will retire as chief of the RNC in June. Here and Now's Mark Quinn sat down with Janes earlier today. Here's part of their conversation.
Did any of that have a role in your decision to leave the RNC?
No, they actually didn't. It was people are wired differently, and for me, it's like you set out goals and then you achieve those goals, and even with the whatever happens on a day-to-day basis, whatever the issue of the day is, we always go back to our plan and what it is we were trying to accomplish over those 3 years. So those things that you mentioned, I mean, they'll go through systems and processes, and in the end, there'll be an outcome, and people need to be patient. But I think as an organization, we're built on the foundation of integrity and professionalism. And I think that they're the things, those core values will be what people see in the end. And attending 75,000 calls a year and people interacting with our officers every day, it's that type of respect that we show for others that people will see, and it'll be positive in terms of our relationship with the community.
And over the past little while, that foundation of integrity you mentioned has sort of been shaken a little bit, at least in the public's mind. And even Minister Parsons said that he believes the RNC has to act to sort of rebuild the public faith. Did you not want to be part of that rebuilding of the public faith in the RNC?
Well, the driver, of course, was the completion of the corporate plan. But the rebuilding and the public faith in the RNC is built on every call that we go to every day. I mean, our officers are hard-working officers. They are always respectful of others. And as I said, the organization's built on a foundation of professionalism and integrity. And that's what people see every day. And when we do our hundreds of calls every day, and it's those interactions that happen, they're the ones that impact how people feel about us. And I will also say that I receive a lot of calls from people who do have strong support from the RNC, and it's unwavering. So the support is still there in many, many cases.
And the final question in that area I wanted to ask is, there is the Nova Scotia CERT was asked to do an investigation of some senior officers with the RNC. Has that investigation been completed?
That'll be a question best put to Mr. Ron MacDonald, who's involved with the investigation. And when his work is completed, I guess he'll share it at that time.
And that investigation didn't have any role in your decision to leave?
None whatsoever.
So what's next for you now? I understand you're here till June. What happens after June?
Well, I have a holiday planned, and then maybe some time for relaxation. And I think on Labor Day, we'll be 2 months retired, and I'll probably sit back and have a cup of coffee and start thinking about the rest of my life. But I think a holiday and a bit of time to relax first, and after 2 months, then I'll probably reflect then.
When you made the decision, how did you feel? I imagine you've been here for a few decades, and it must have been a mixture of emotions. How did that feel to make that decision?
I guess it's still a process, because I don't leave till the end of June, so I wouldn't be able to give you a wholesome answer to that. But I did find I felt peaceful about it, and I feel satisfied about the decision, and look forward to the challenges, the next challenges that the future will bring, and I'm very happy about it.
New generation. Bill Skarsgård stars as Pennywise, the creepy clown that terrorizes children. The role was originally played by Tim Curry in the popular 1990 TV miniseries. And if that wasn't scary enough, this remake looks a lot more terrifying. It's out in theaters September 8th. No, thank you.
Creepy. Well, we know that male carriers and dogs don't always get along, but one Canada Post worker is confronted with some serious catitude on a daily basis. Just take a look.
Oy, 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 oy. Easy little fella.
Well, she seems to be enjoying it. The fierce feline defends its turf. Deborah Anderson delivers mail in Hamilton, Ontario, where she faces an attempted cat attack every single day, and it never fails to make her laugh.
Oh, that's fantastic. We've been talking a lot of unpleasant weather. How about a picture that shows us some pleasant weather to end things off here? Sunrise in Lords Cove.
Beautiful.
Burin Peninsula. Margaret Mary Martin, a frequent contributor. And thanks to all who are already posting their stormy storm chip names on Twitter. Seen some great ones, though the best line I think was, forget about the storm chips, #storm wine.
Now you're talking.
I like it.
All we just need is those rocky, salty things to go with it. See you tomorrow, everyone.
Good night, everyone.